So hey guys, my name is Fred. I'm the protocol architect of Beamer, and today I'd like to talk to you about effortless optimistic bridging between rollups only and what nice properties we can gain out of that. So bridges everywhere. With the last bull market and Ethereum being congested quite often, we saw as a consequence that many users are actually leaving Ethereum to alt L1s, other side chains, and we also have rollups emerging. So actually fragmenting all that into different networks, we see the need of bridging assets between those networks. And whenever you have such fast-growing segments in crypto, you also see the hacks are not far away. And that's what we have seen, probably the most famous, the Ronin bridge hack, as the best example just a couple of months ago. And that really often happens because there are trade-offs being made in the security assumptions of the protocols. So when we started researching in this field, we figured out that lots of bridges are actually trying to do it all. They want to connect between all the L1s, the sidechains, rollups, all what they have. And as I mentioned, as a consequence, they need to make compromises. Compromises on user experience or on security or whatnot. So we as the Beamer team, we believe in a rollup-centric future for Ethereum, and we believe that rollups will succeed in the long term. So when talking about making a bridge, it was a no-brainer for us actually to build a bridge on rollups. And if we go that route and actually build a bridge only for rollups, we can take advantage of the nice properties rollups have, namely data availability on a common base layer. So this means actually having all data from all rollups on a common base layer like Ethereum L1. In theory, all of the state of all the rollups can be evaluated and verified. So whenever something goes wrong on any rollup, we could, as a last resort, go to L1 and actually evaluate what happened. So, but to be honest, when speaking about bridging between rollups, that's actually not what we want. We don't want to use L1, actually. So how can we, that's basically the purpose of the bridge. So it would definitely not be very good user experience if the user had to go to L1 and do perform slow transactions. So the question was here, and the challenge, how can we build a protocol that maintains this security level and does not add a lot of new trust assumptions, and at the same time maximize on user experience, a very smooth user experience. And our solution to this is Beamer Bridge and the underlying protocol, which is what we call an optimistic bridge. And how that works and how we can achieve maximum user experience while maintaining a very high level of security, I'd like to explain to you in a minute. So, but just to re-emphasize on when we are talking about bridging, Beamer Bridge enables the user to transfer ERC20 assets between any EVM-compatible rollup, which is built on Ethereum Layer 1. So basically, what is Beamer Bridge? Beamer Bridge is a market-making protocol between a user who wants to transfer funds and liquidity providers who have those funds on other rollups. We use canonical tokens, so we don't have a lock and mint mechanism. We use the native tokens created by the rollup bridges that guarantees an even higher level of security. And so if a user wants to transfer the tokens, it's basically written on the left. He has his tokens on rollup 1 and sends his tokens and performs one transaction and sends the tokens additionally with some fees and the requested information on one of our contracts. As soon as a liquidity provider, we call them agents, sees that, he will immediately send the tokens on the target rollup to the user. So that actually means the service is provided at that point in time. So the user has received the tokens and can move on with his life and use some DeFi tools or whatnot. So, but the question is, of course, an agent would only upfront the assets if he really knows and can be really sure that he will get back his tokens, which are locked in the contract. And that's where our optimistic bridge comes into place. The agent will go to that contract and makes a claim that he's the one who fulfilled the service on the target rollup. So please note that everybody outside of the rollup, like any participant in the network, can read the rollup and really knows if he actually provided and if this claim is valid or not. Only the contract itself doesn't know it yet. So once the agent did his claim, he will actually, in a period will start where any participant can intervene and make a statement that he believes this claim is not valid. So enter into a dispute between two participants. But if that doesn't happen, and that's a happy case, this period will simply expire, the agent will withdraw the tokens, and the trade is actually settled. That easy. But of course, the interesting part is, what happens if we have a dispute? How can we correctly resolve this dispute? Because definitely one of the participants is lying. So looking into that phase, it's called the challenge phase, one should know that the agent, when making a claim, needs to stake a small deposit, which he is willing to lose if this claim is an invalid claim. So that amount doesn't need to be very high, but it must be enough that any participant in the system is incentivized to actually step in and join this challenge. So let's assume that happens, and someone believes that is a false claim, and he will also stake a small deposit. And now we are entering into a challenge period. So in this period, we introduce a escalation game mechanism. That mechanism is also known, for example, in Claros, where both participants will outbid each other and increase their stakes in the game. So that is very important for later, but just see it like as a game of poker where both of the participants can increase their stakes, and once the claim is resolved, the winner will get all the stakes. So how is the claim actually resolved? So there are two possible ways that a claim will be resolved, or a challenge in that case. For one, any participant could stop engaging in the protocol, and the challenge period time window expires. At that point in time, the highest bidder will be seen as the person who said the truth and will win this claim. So it will win all the stakes. If it's the claimer, he's also able to withdraw the tokens. If it's the challenger, then the claimer is not possible. So basically, the contract simply believes that the highest bid is saying the truth. But of course, that wouldn't be very secure if that would be the only option, because the more economic power one has, the more likely it is that he will win a claim. But we actually want the person who's making a valid statement will win all the time. So what is the other way? And the other way is actually something we need to remember from the beginning of the talk. We're doing rollup only bridging, and the nice property of rollups is all the data are available on Ethereum layer 1. So whenever the honest participant feels like it, or actually any participant, he could simply go to L1, execute a transaction, verifying the state, what really happened on the target rollup, And what's then technically actually happening is the layer 1 contract will transmit this information to the contract, to the dispute, and it will resolve with the real outcome, because that's the actual information and the actual action, what happened on the target rollup. So I just said before that this bidding phase is very important, and the bidding phase is important because going to layer 1 can be quite costly. So, and an honest participant should never pay for it. So this bidding phase is actually there to collect funds from the malicious party to eventually pay for this transaction. So to have a little bit a different view on it, we see a flow diagram of an honest user. And I will show you now that the claim will always be resolved correctly if the honest user just follows the protocol. It's the starting point here at this part. The user, so we are assuming that the honest user is winning, so he has the highest bid right now. Then he will just check if it's already terminated, then it is resolved correctly because the honest participant won the challenge. If not, he will simply check, did I get challenged? So is the other party leading now? And if yes, is there enough stake already deposited by the malicious party so it will cover my cost to go to L1? If not, then I will simply increase my stake, enforcing the other one to bid as well as much money. So it simply cycles back. But if there's enough stake collected, then we will do, or the honest participant will do what we call an L1 resolution, actually verifying the state of the target rollup and transmitting this information to the contract. And we will also end, obviously, with a correctly resolved claim. So as you can see, if one of the participants is honest, so we only need ever one honest participant, we will, and this one follows the protocol, we will always end in correctly resolved claims. That protocol is actually in place and so we see that the malicious party will always lose. So we put that protocol in place, but we actually expect that it is never or rarely going to be used. And it's just being used as a potential threat to any malicious actor. If there's still a malicious actor who wants to enter into this challenge, he will for sure end up losing money. Yeah, that's already it. I showed you how we can achieve very good user experience while maintaining Ethereum layer 1 security. Please, before we go into questions, visit us at our booth. It's in the basement, level -1, next to the catering. You can try out Beamer there and get some nice swag, or just try it out yourself at testnet.beamerbridge.com. And yeah, if you're interested, you can also join our Discord. Thank you very much. Do you have questions?
We have time for one question, if anybody would like to ask anything. Huh?
All right. Yeah, question.
Are users ever involved in dispute resolution?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So as we have shown in the slide before, the user is actually done once he received his transfers, but the dispute resolution will only ever happen between agents. And they do it for profit, and they do it because they are service providers. Okay. No worries. You can see me now, later, or at the booth. I'm happy to go into detail. Thank you very much.
Thank you.